Here. I hope everyone is warm, at least. So basically, what I wanted to stop by and do was basically address what I posted in the group last night, address what people have been sending to me during the day, address comments and information, and basically what I would see as the positive way of handling food allergies in airlines. So I should preface it saying, like, we don't fly a lot. We have taken the kids on airplanes a couple times. As you know, my kids have multiple food allergies. Our last flight, which was about almost 3 years ago, I specifically said, you know, my kid has a dairy allergy and tree nut allergy, and they looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. I got this. I just need to wipe down, and which is what I did. On our way to our location, they did serve tree nuts, warm tree nuts. And I could tell they were also heating up stuff with dairy. And my son did get very sniffly and congested, my younger son. On our flight back, my older son noticed that behind us, they were eating Doritos. Why do I say all this? Because I'm saying that there's food on a plane, like it or not. I had consulted with my allergist because coincidentally my boys did have a reaction down there where we were in the ER, but not from the airline. And I mentioned how my son got stuffy and congested and should I be worried and all this kinds of stuff. And I was told, as one of our members posted in that group, was to pre-medicate before this and to basically treat it as a cat allergy. So that's what we've been doing when we go places and he might be exposed to that. Now let me touch on the specifics of the piece and then the comments and that kind of stuff. So someone sent me the piece last night, just so you know, because I'm blocked on Twitter by that person, which is not surprising. So someone sent me and they needed help because evidently the comments were not going in a great way in terms of other food allergies. Awareness, that should be said. So what I did was I, read over the comments and I read the article, and the truth was, I know this was someone's statement, and I know it's not the group statement, but it's still someone's statement and it's getting a lot of press. And by press, I mean it's getting press on social media and within the food allergy group. And the truth is, 90% of the stuff that we talk about in food allergy world doesn't make it outside of food allergy world. So honestly, what's really important to us, the majority of the world could care less. But this is important because I read that statement and I was really, I was upset. I was angry. I was angry because they were going after two elderly people and they didn't know their personal health history. Were they hypoglycemic? Do they have diabetes? Are they low on funds? Like, you don't know anyone else's story but your own. And the way it was written and the way it was applauded was so disrespectful and so, I want to say, for people who preach about empathy, I didn't feel it was empathetic about what someone else is talking about, or what someone else is going through. And the truth is that when you have one food allergy, you only think of that food allergy. And that's a fact. When you have multiple food allergies, the world is a little bit bigger. The world is a little bit more scarier because, let's face it, those food allergies aren't going to go away. they're going to be around you. So I read that piece as an entitled parent who didn't care about anybody else's needs and didn't think of finding a solution. Just, you can't eat that, and I don't care what you need. My child's gonna die if you eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Which this person actually posted and said the odds are, you know, I'm getting texts like crazy, so just bear with me. About this situation as I'm coming in, as I'm talking, they're coming in. But what I was going to say was that this person even admitted that there probably wouldn't be a problem. And we've posted many times that peanut butter in itself is not dispersed in the air. Cracking peanuts, yes, that will disperse in the air. Steaming milk, heating up cheese, powdered cheese products, hard cooking eggs. These are all ways that the proteins get in the air. Not peanut butter, not a slice of cheese, not in its solid state. And I know many will fight on this, but that's the case. Would I want my child on a flight sitting next to somebody eating cheese doodles or Doritos? I'll be honest, no, I wouldn't. And my kids wouldn't want to sit next to somebody doing that. And the truth is, if I had to move my seat or ask them to move their seat, I would do that. I would sooner do that than tell people that they couldn't eat it. But I would problem solve. I wouldn't make demands. I would try to problem solve about this. You know, sometimes you can't just demand the whole world avoid your allergen. And I feel that that's what the argument is. I did feel that the comments towards people who had other allergens were very disrespectful. First, it was dairy. And people were saying, well, dairy's not airborne, dairy's not a problem, dairy's not like nut allergy. And of course, people came in and said otherwise. And then later this afternoon, I saw that people on the Facebook page, that people said, well, I'd eat pretzels. And someone said, well, great, but what if you open up the pretzels and the flour goes everywhere and you're sitting next to a person who's anaphylactic to wheat? Not celiac, but actually anaphylactic to wheat. And so someone again said, well, these allergies aren't as bad as nuts. So aside from this piece having this sense of entitlement and disrespect for other people and other people's needs, the comments that came about, first of all, whenever someone speaks up about how another allergy is just as bad as nuts, the argument becomes that we're trying to say which allergen's worse. That is not the case at all. So unfortunately, and I'm sure many in this group can tell you, that we're not trying to tell people that, oh, we have it so much harder, but we're trying to say, don't think that your problem is exclusive to nuts. We're trying to tell you that what you're afraid of with nuts is the same risk with any other food. So please don't tell us that nuts are more severe. Don't tell us, well, it doesn't happen with the other allergens. And allow us to educate. Allow us to tell people that this is the case. And as soon as we tell people that, we're accused of trying to compare allergens and try to pin one against each other. That is not what's trying to happen. It's education, it's awareness, it's saying we are in the same boat, and actually we're in a worse boat to some extent, because if you have multiple allergies, there's many items that we're exposed to at once. So I want to make that clear. We're not trying to one up. We're trying to level the field. We're trying to make it even. We're trying to say what you're worried about is what I'm worried about, but we don't have the ability to say I want a nut-free flight. I can't say I want a dairy-free flight. I can't say I want a sesame-free flight. I can't say I want a fish-free flight. I can't say I want a beef-free flight. I don't have that luxury. Nobody with multiple allergies do. And the truth is, it shouldn't be my luxury. It's not something that I can ban other people from having, because as I've always said, one person's allergen is another person's safe food. One person's seafood is another person's allergen. So we can never, unless we have food-free flights, we could never, ever, ever say that our flights are allergy-friendly. So we can never say that it's safe for everybody. Look, I post that article about that guy who has had anaphylaxis to tomatoes on a flight in Australia. Or what about 2 years ago, a woman had anaphylaxis just from them having shellfish on board. Now, we all know about Bethany, and she has been going back and forth on Twitter and being upset that they're serving salmon. I understand her concern, but then should I be upset when they serve pizza to a whole group of people? Or if they're pouring milk in everyone's coffee? Or if they are serving Doritos to the entire plane, because that would be exactly the same? What's the answer? So here's the deal. What I think is, I think we're missing the boat. I think the approach is going the whole wrong way, and it's going to backfire on us. I think that the more we start crying foul, or should I say, I'm not crying foul. So the more nut allergy families are crying foul. And wait, let me be specific. Peanut allergy families are crying foul, because I am a nut allergy mom. But the more that we're just focusing on the peanut, and we're trying to get airlines to make policies for peanut, but we're not fighting airlines to make policies for every single type of allergen, a broad thing. Now, the leader of that organization did put out a statement and said that, you know, it is a broad thing, and it should be, and each one of them is unique and you know, great. But the thing is, if it's going to be unique, then there should be a generic food allergy policy for any person with a food allergy. So that eliminates whether they're going to just do a nut-free flight, or they're going to do an announcement about peanuts. And I am really only talking about peanuts, because right now, believe it or not, you really don't have any protections with tree nuts, which really makes me so confused, because you're saying that peanuts are a risk, but tree nuts are just much risk, and JetBlue has them in their little box that you could buy. And I'm a cashew, and basically the only nuts that we can have are almonds and peanuts, and maybe Brazil nuts. But cashews and pistachios are horrible for us. But you can have them. But wouldn't the risk, if you thought about it, wouldn't the risk be exactly the same than a peanut would be? What we need is, we need to change this conversation. This conversation needs to be telling airlines to make a broad policy for all people with food allergies. You can't limit what people eat on board. Let's just be honest about that. You can't stop what I bring on or what I need to feed my child with. Because, like I said, this example with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it could be one of us with an infant who has, or a toddler or a school-aged child, and we pack them an almond butter sandwich or some other sandwich. Or we have a multiple allergy kid, and the sandwich that we brought is the only sandwich that our kid can eat, that there's nothing safe on the flight. So, I mean, how do you think a parent would like it if they're just dealing, let's say it was reverse. We, multiple allergy moms, tell the peanut allergy mom that the one thing they brought is not safe for us, and they'd have to buy something on the flight. But 90% of the stuff on the flight has a may contained or made in warning. So they're putting us in the same kind of situation. But we're not thinking about each other. We're thinking about our allergen and only our allergen and nobody else and nobody else's needs. So we need to ask the airlines to have EPI, to have trained staff, to have a procedure in place if you're uncomfortable sitting next to somebody to change seats. Not tell somebody not to eat that they can't eat something, but to tell them, look, I'm not comfortable with them eating Doritos. I have a severe dairy allergy and I'm asthmatic. Can I please move my seat? And then have a policy of being accommodated that way. And the truth is, the more we demand, the more we get hysterical. I really do feel that it will come a time when you identify as having an allergy that they will not allow us to fly because we will be deemed too much of a risk, too fragile. So this is a very delicate balance. We don't want to have that happen. We want people to know that food allergies are manageable, that, you know, as long as the proper precautions are put in place, and we are respectful of other people, that seems to be a key piece, that we all have very different needs. But please understand that if you have, you know, if you see somebody and it's your allergen, your kid's allergen, don't be rude about it. Rudeness is never, food allergies are never an excuse for being rude or entitled. Please always try to think the problem through. Try to get creative. Try to, compromise, things like that. Don't demand. Many doctors that I've spoken to said that the more hysterical you get, the less likely people are to even listen to you. So who are we benefiting? So with this, I'm kind of really hoping we can start a conversation educating those in the community that feel advocating for other allergies is trying to pin them together. I'm really hoping we can do more of that in many of these groups. As you know, some of the groups have kicked me out because they didn't like that I pointed out that other food allergies are just as dangerous as nut allergy. So I'm not able to do it all the time, and I count on you guys to do it. I know many people who send me things and tell me where they need help and things like that. And anytime you need help, I'm here. Direct message me. I can always help. But I think it's time that we say we're not going to be rude. We understand that other people have needs, and that the greater food allergy community understands that we're not one-upping each other. We're defending our needs for protection as well. And the way to get that protection, we need universal protection. And the way we get the universal protection is by having a conversation, educating everybody that this is not a nut exclusive issue. Educate everybody in terms of how to respond to an emergency situation. And educating everybody that all the foods, any food, has the same potential. And then we talk about accommodations in terms of seating in a plane. That's the best we really can do. So use this video as a conversation starter. Please share your thoughts. I don't care if they're bad. I'm used to getting bad comments. If you want help educating people, message me. I'll be happy to do that. I just really think that we can't really sit by and we're essentially, those of us trying to speak up about other food allergies and air flight, we're being, I want to say, beaten down and accused of things, and it's not that. So with that, I'll look for your comments. Thanks. Bye.